questions. Um, this was actually, I think it was a good episode. I don't know why everybody's talking about it all of a sudden. I guess because of the preview. I mean the the beginning part where Tamar and Tawanda was going at it, but I'm just like, I wish they would get it together or just do something, do it differently. I don't understand the arguing so much, being in your 50s, 40, late 40s, arguing with your siblings about instead of getting to the truth, just arguing. But so where do we start off? Um, Trina came on, and the whole like heart failure thing that Vaughn was having. She came on and she was just like, I ran back as soon as I could to back to my home country, and because he went to the okay, so he ended up and the wording. I watched it. I had to watch it twice, but the wording was so crazy because I was just like, was this before or was this after the situation? Because he seemed fine, and so he was just like, when you left to go to Tulum or Tulum as they say it, when you left to go, I went to the hospital because I wasn't feeling well. And I'm just like, how do you fake not breathing laying down while your wife is in the building? That's weird. And so he's just like, yeah, when you left, I went to the hospital. They had I had 30 pounds of fluid in my heart. And so now we have to go on like this diet. I need to change my diet, like a 90-day program. And it's just like, I think the Braxtons are cursed. But anyway, well, something like that. And she's just like, okay, we're gonna do better. And I just was just that was just shocking to see and to hear. And so then what happened after that? I think it was Tony's rehearsal. Tony looked tired. She looked unmotivated. She looked kind of sad. And then Tony's, you guys notice in Tony's confessionals, she she looks, first of all, she looks really pale. And I don't know, I'm just like, there's so many things like you notice about people and you notice about Tony, and you're just like, is it because of lupus? Is it like cosmetic wise? Like she looked scary and she looked thinner in one of the scenes, her confessionals, and she looked like pale. And it was just like, Tony, what's going on? And so I think, why are there so many bots in here? Okay, so anyways, and so then oh, she was talking about the tour, and she was like, you can definitely tell how she was like nervous about this Miami show. I think that Miami show was really good. I think that's the one I did watch, or watch the clips. I think she did two of them. No, maybe the Miami one wasn't that great. I think the Bermuda one was good, or the one recently she had did. But she was just like, you can tell she's very codependent and nervous about giving a good show and being she just codependent. She built this codependency with Cedric, the entertainer, and their Vegas show because she was just like completely nervous and frazzled about doing a 45-minute set. But I'm just like, damn, it doesn't sound that long. That's like 5, 6 songs. So I don't know. Um, and then the weird thing is, this week she announced that she's going on tour with Boys to Men and New Edition. And I find that completely weird because boys, that's a lot of checks that's going out. I'm just like, wait, how much money do you guys think they're making? How much money do they expect to make off of this tour for the money to be split so many ways? Dancers and I mean, this isn't like the Queen's tour where they're probably making a good amount of money. They probably don't have a whole lot of people traveling with them. Um, I don't get it. I don't get it. How they expect to make money off of this tour. But then she's doing the tour, and it wasn't like she's gonna be at some dates and some not some other dates. She seemed like she's doing the full tour, which I'm just like, okay, hopefully she can, like just for the lupus warrior of it all, because hopefully she can. I just I hope she is able to do that. And then I'm like looking at the days off, and some of the days off aren't like so. Just like the Boys Mind tour, I don't understand why they had these ladies out here. It's like the setup is 4 days. They work 4 days, they work 3 days, and then they're off 4 days, or they're off 3 days. And so I'm just like, I don't understand why they have these like 45, 50-year-old women out here touring like they're 19. Like, I feel like there should be some time in between. And then that whole thing with Brandy, I feel like that her lying is that she was overheated or whatever. That was hilarious. But that wasn't a good one. I mean, to like my mom, maybe to like somebody who doesn't keep up with stuff, maybe. But that wasn't a good excuse to say that you were overheated when you clearly just walked off stage. Um, and I think the track was still playing, but never mind. Um, but yeah, I don't understand. I didn't understand that. And I think if they had more time in between shows, maybe some of the technical stuff wouldn't necessarily happen. I mean, sometimes you see technical stuff happen anyways, but okay, whatever. Let's get back to the show. So then Tamar and T.S. Madison, T.S. Madison. I don't know where my do not disturb is on this phone. T.S. Madison and I think you can see all this. I'm not trying to do that. T.S. Madison and Tamar had a conversation, and T.S. was like, "Oh, they talked about Craig." She was like, your co-host doesn't like me," and she's like, "I don't think that's what that is." Um, but Craig had I forgot her and Craig had that like riff. I think that was this year or like late last year. Like time is just like so much stuff is just going on. It's so hard to keep up and keep remembering. Um, but Tamar was just like one of Tia's questions. By the way, Tia's Madison. This is the type who does never been slapped before you overdue. I don't know what that is. Um, Tamar, T.S. Madison, her podcast is a little boring, or it's just too much. I feel like she talks about the same stuff. And I notice about podcasts these days, they all talk about themselves while they have like a really cool guest in front of them. They want to give like I was watching Bob, the drag queen, like a whole lot of podcasts. They don't interview. They're not having a conversation. It's just like, let me tell you about me, and then you respond to how I feel. And it's like, no. Um. Uh. So then, what else? Oh, T.S. asked her like, when was your villain era? And she was just like, my family kind of made me the villain. And I'm like, no, Tamar, you kind of were kind of nasty. You were pretty much like Nene. Nene was kind of nasty or outspoken in the beginning of the show, or pretty much the whole show. Pretty much the whole show, even now. Nene like was like saying these crazy things, and I feel like the producers might were baiting her to say that. And so I think once Tamar had this persona of saying crazy things or responding or being outspoken, they kind of played off of that, and maybe she didn't realize that was happening. So then she became like the mean girl, or I don't know, because some of the stuff Tamar was saying was really true, and so I don't understand why. Yeah, Tamar, some of the stuff she was mean, but some of the stuff was really true. Like Gabe was the computer whiz. Okay, so then I don't think there was anything else interesting besides Tamar kind of like me mugging T.S. Madison. Okay, and then I believe it was Tawanda's Tawanda's wedding dress thingy-majig when she was trying on dresses. The second one looked really, really great. The first one looked interesting. I mean, you do what you want to do. But the weird thing was that the stylist or whoever, he didn't know when the wedding was, or he was just like, he had the impression the wedding was in a couple of months when the wedding was in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, I'm sick of this family. Tamar did the last episode, and then Tawanda's like, yeah, my wedding's in a couple of weeks, so I need the dress now. And it's just like, I don't understand. I don't understand why they can't get it right. And it comes off so weird as a viewer watching you have this riff with somebody and they don't know the right dates. Like, that is so weird. Okay, and so what happened after that? Vaughn and Trina throughout the. Oh, okay, let's get to the good part. So Miss E does not need to be on this show. I get it. She's the mother. I get it. She, might have like a story to tell, but her second stent in her heart, the first one she had a stroke with, the second stent, like she somehow wasn't communicating correctly that she was having a stent or like some kind of heart situation. So she went to the hospital. I was trying to figure it out because she went to the hospital. She was going in the next day to the hospital to have some kind of activity with her heart, but she didn't know what it was. But somehow it got translated to Logan that she was having heart surgery. So so then they all like rush to tell Tamar rushed to tell everybody that she was having heart surgery to have a stent put in her heart. Well, I guess they ended up putting a stent in her heart from her looking at whatever was going on in her heart. And I'm like, was this just like a regular checkup or was this like a actual checkup because of something that happened? Weird. It was weird. And I'm just like, she's not being 100% truthful, and that makes it weird to watch. And I'm just like, okay, you want to be not truthful? Don't be on TV, or come up with a better lie. Come up with a better lie, because it just looks so weird. And so then they're just like, the sisters come and rally around her, and she had this like, I thought the conversation she was having with Tawanda on the phone was the next day when she got out of the hospital. I thought it was going to be like a checkup. How are you, mom? And ended up being like a Tawanda, how are you? And it was just like, here we are, still not being truthful. And it didn't look edited. It didn't look like they spliced it up or anything. It just looked like Tawanda didn't ask about her mother who just got, or she breezed past her mother who just got out of the hospital having a stent in her heart, and Miss E and the teeth, like the veneers, and her trying to speak, Tawanda and her veneers trying to speak. It's just like it's so much going on with that family. I don't know. Oh, back to T.S. Madison when she asked, "Does your family like drama?" And I'm like, I think this family is kind of cursed or something. It's just like the TV thing is so weird with them. So then I guess like a couple of days later, and the next day they go to have the finally we get to the dinner scene that we've looked at so much. And so my whole thing is you have a cease and desist. Wait, the Timber was like, this has been going on for centuries. Our family's been on TV for centuries. Is it the word? And it's like, no, it's right. It's decades. Hilarious and concerning. But anyway, my whole thing is that if Tamar has a cease and desist, why can't, and they have Trina, Tawanda, and Tony's name on it, and they have it has all everybody's name on it. Why can't they say, "Well, let me see it," instead of just arguing back and forth? It's like, and I hope we do get to see it, or I guess probably not. The way things just seem like it just escalated. But I'm just like, why can't they just see the names? And if that is the case, because she was just like, you guys shut down my business. I can't work. I can't talk about it, which is true. I can't promote it, which is true, which is true. She can't probably even upload it, which is probably why nothing's really been heard about it. Um, and she's like, you guys all know this lawyer, and Tawana's like, I haven't had him as a lawyer for years, which probably I can see that based off of the conversations they've had. Um, Tony was like, "You didn't hear that from me. It's not. I have nothing to do with it." And then Trina is over here like, "Quiet." This is Trina. While they're all both arguing, that's what I noticed. I was like, "Oh, Trina's not saying anything." Trina, or maybe they cut her mic. I don't know. But like I said, the beginning, like if everybody's name is on there, why don't they talk about it? Why don't they, instead of denying it? I mean, Tamar is not, lying about a cease and desist. Um, so I'm just like, why? Like I've been saying from the beginning, why don't they do things differently on this show at this point? It's like, okay, you don't like each other. Let's figure this one step out or go step by step. Because I'm just like, what is the point of this arguing? If your name is on a document, your name is on a document. And then if it's not supposed to be there, you guys need to contact that lawyer because the lawyer is moving in a bad way. And the whole like Tawanda is I don't know. Wait. I don't know if you guys know this, like Tawanda being stealing from Tamar is kind of matching up. I mean, it's probably not true. I mean, shout out to everybody who was there. I thought it was a fun Capone. Back in the day, Tawanda was arrested, or she had like fraud charges putting on her. I think they were fraud. And Wendy Williams talked to Tony. Tony was promoting. Sister that keeps talking. Yeah, Carmen was in earlier, but I asked Tamar if she got a nose job, and she said, "Yep, she went to Tony's doctor." Tony's forthright about her. See, Tony is the kind of big sister, much like my big sister. Tony was promoting, I think, Libra. Yeah, Libra, and Tamar and Tony were in the room, and so Wendy. Wendy brought up that Tawanda was stealing. Wait, let me find it. As I'm saying goodbye, and the sucker MC is playing, her eyes are tearing.
outer around the rims of their nostrils, on the top lip. Got Chili Donuts. Tony said that she didn't know about her sister, and so I felt bad. As I'm saying goodbye, and the sucker MC is playing, her eyes are tearing. I gotta tell you something. There's something real special going on there with Carrie and Tony. I know that they're married, but I mean something special. Like, and if you just turn on the radio, I can't recap the whole thing. To be honest, but I seen that she was flying.
Tamar was just like, okay, whatever.
Headquarters in Gwinnett County, according to the police report filed in the incident. The sister of R&B singer Toni Braxton is facing criminal charges in Gwinnett County. Braxton Carter, who lives in Duluth, was charged with forgery and theft by receiving. Braxton Carter, 31, was once an employee of Safeco, an insurance firm, but quit months before the allegations of theft took place. Braxton Carter was reportedly in the back room of the company's office where the blank checks are stored with Stephen Robeson, an employee, on January 31st. Wow, Happy New Year's. Robeson, the employee, left the room for a few minutes, leaving Braxton Carter alone, and at the time, she allegedly stole 3 blank checks, the police report said. Braxton Carter apparently used one of the checks at the Sweetwater liquor store, according to the police report. The check was processed but rejected after an error on the check occurred, and the liquor store subsequently contacted Safeco and Peggy Kingsman, who the police reported as investigator and presumably an employee. Excuse me. Let me go to the next paragraph. Peggy said Braxton Carter told her that Robeson had given her the checks and that she did not know they were forged. Robeson told Kingsman that he didn't know anything about the checks, according to police. The other 2 checks have not been accounted for. Robeson was fired from Safeco for allowing someone to go in the back room, which is against company policy, the police report says. Braxton Carter, who lives in Duluth, Georgia, has been charged with 1 count of forgery. Gwinnett County District Attorney received the case, and no hearing date has been set as of yet. The representative for Braxton Carter declined. Safeco has declined. Braxton Carter was recently seen on starting over an R&B singing group, the Braxtons. So Tony, if you just know, wait, hold on for just 1 second. Affiliates, just wait for just 1 minute. Tony didn't know too much about this. Her, everybody in the room, well, Tony and Carrie's, you guys kind of look like you can be knocked over with a feather. Here, I'm going to take this, and then this will be over. Little sister is looking like whatever.
No, I just don't know what to think about it. I'm just, wow.
That's my mom. Mom's gonna what's up and don't say stuff here. Yeah. I love that you came in. Come back when you see the. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna get emotional. You got Carrie. Oh, Tony. All right, that's it. The show is over. You all, I love you for listening. Tony, thanks for coming in. Take care. You got Carrie. Look at that. Fighting Curly. All handsome and buff. So, you know what I'm saying?
So yeah, this is in Tawana's first allegation with forgery, fraud, whatever we want to call it. So we'll see what plays out with that. Like I said, what's her name? Trina just sat there. Like, I feel like Trina's been off the season, or she's just like, maybe she's just like in a different headspace or like a different mindset. I don't know. Trina has just been different. We'll see what happens next week. I think this episode was really, really good. But like I said, they're not doing anything differently. They're just arguing. And then Tony was like, "You don't want to play with me. I'm the heavyweight champion." Or Tony was just like, no, Tamar was saying, "Tony, you didn't defend me." I guess like she normally does in this situation. But Tony was like, "I've defended you for the past 1,000 years." Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, everybody kind of just is working guilty. Or maybe I felt at the beginning, it felt like everybody was working guilty. Everybody was saying things out of guilt. Guilt. Especially Tony responding back with the I always protect you, or I always come to your defense. But Tamar was like, you didn't come to my defense about this situation, not in the past. I'm talking about this particular situation, which I think we all kind of can agree Tamar was kind of done wrong with the cease and desist. Um, Maybe she should put it out. Like F the cease and desist, and then see who's gonna act. Because a lawyer can't just act. He has to have the approval of whoever he's working for, right? So yeah, they just was like they were talking out of guilt, and then what's her name? Trina didn't say anything, and so I feel like she was just working out of guilt. Her not saying anything felt kind of like guilty to me, and maybe Tony and Tawanda didn't have anything to do with it. And then also the other thing about Tawanda, I just feel like Tawanda is at a certain point, I feel like there's like two separate points, maybe like after dinner and before dinner. And I feel like before dinner, Tawanda was kind of playing to this woe is me and I'm the victim type thing on one hand. And then on the other hand, we do see her reveal certain stuff about how she didn't want Tamar to come pretty much. And what else was I gonna say? And then, like, I guess afterwards we'll see a different side. After the dinner, we'll see a different side of Tawanda. But I'm just like, oh, and then Tamar saying, I don't like Sean. I never did. He comes out so like macho, and so like I have to prove everything, and the like renaming Brooke Tawanda and Sean's daughter is so like uncomfortable, but like it's uncomfortable to watch, but like you get it because I have seen, they've talked about on their YouTube, Tawanda, what's his name? Andre. Andre is not in the kid's life at all. So I'm just like, okay, I guess it's just like, it's weird. Tawanda and what's his name? Tawanda and whatever that dude is, Sean, they're just weird. And I just find him weird. So then for Tamar to say, I put the down payment on your house, I believe it. I believe it. Because like I said, Sean and Tawanda are, mainly Sean, are weird. And it's so weird how I guess it's just like based off of family, the way Tamar has pretty much taken care of her family or has helped financially her family in the past. And then yet she has to go through certain things. Like it's just like it's a double thing with Tamar that I don't get. It's like she is a victim in it, but then also she's not a victim. Like I said last week, it's so confusing. Um, I think that's all I gotta say. This is the Dare Show podcast. Leave a comment. Bye.